fluff is going on, y'all? Welcome back to another amazing YouTube video. This is going to be a little bit different, okay? So for those of you who might not know, I love talking about mental health. I love trying to help people get into a better mindset, try and think differently, and just ultimately improve their lives. I also happen to love Warzone. So I thought we'd combine the two. I was having an amazing spectating session, but there were amazing people in chat who had questions that I wanted to address. So for this video, it's going to be a little bit longer, might not be as exciting, but we're going to be talking about mental health stuff, whether it's anxiety, relationships, loss, stress, bettering yourself. All of those things are going to be touched on. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Do me a favor, drop a like, please. Let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this, because I do this every Monday over on my stream, kick.com/IGotPuppies. And yeah, so I hope you eventually join for one. I appreciate you. I love you. Do me a favor, drop a like, comment, sub if you haven't. Enjoy the video. Catch you on the next one. All right, back to random question generator. What's your worst habit? Ooh, probably not recharging properly, I should say. Not taking quality time for myself, legit. Shutting people out when shit gets tough. I hear that, dude. I hear that. Actually, I hear that. It's like, yeah, I do that. Dewey internalizing and overanalyzing even the most benign interactions and developing negative thoughts or worst case scenarios when it's all upstairs in the brain space. Yeah, that was me up until, I mean, I still do it. Dude, that was effective. Yeah, I still do that, but the easiest thing for me with that is just letting, I only have people in my life that I know I can trust. And I am not going to assume that you feel any sort of emotions unless you tell me. Like, I know you're not looking for, well, I don't know if you're looking for advice, Dewey, but anyone who has that same experience of overthinking, of over-analyzing interactions, of whatever, the biggest gift, Snoochie Boochies, I hope this person wins the game. The biggest gift that I have given myself is not taking on someone else's emotions if they haven't told me about it, right? That was in the cheek hole, and that other person should have died. Oh, it's Jackie Chan, never mind. Bro, you better not destroy Jackie Chan. How dare you? He is a treasure. Did you just put a prox mine on his body? That was almost really amazingly toxic. If you're looking for the advice, great. If this works for you, amazing. I'm trying to cultivate other ways to like get to this, but this has been the way that works best for my brain. I am not going to assume your emotional state. Period. That's number one. I'm not going to assume your emotional state. And I'm not going to worry or... Please be Boochie Smoochy. Please be Boochie Smoochy. Jackie Chan, hiya, let's go. I will not assume or think that you feel any certain way. I trust that you're gonna tell me. And if you don't tell me and you're just weird, that's on you. And that's a you problem. And if it's so uncomfortable that you can't tell me how you feel, then apparently we're not meant to be friends. Because I'm not going to deal with this uncomfortability because you don't have the confidence to tell me something difficult. Like if the ability to just, and I think that's the hardest part to get to, is just, I'm not going to worry about you. I'm not going to read into I'm not going to add emotions to your texts. I'm not going to say, oh, are you really sure? Are we 100% positive? No, you get one, are you sure? And if you're not deciding to reveal your honesty after that, that's on you. And oh, the rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria. Yep. And I'd be curious how much I've had of that, because it ruled my life, dude. It ruled my life. Every single, especially in my dating world, like my codependency in terms of, like, if you had replied to me for like relatively quickly for a conversation and then you stopped and it took like 15 minutes, I was anxious. I was wondering what the hell I did wrong. Is everything okay? Did I say something wrong? Is blah, 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 blah. And realized just, yeah, how much I was assuming other people's emotions or whatever. And just got to the point of like, cool. I trust that you'll tell me when something's wrong. I'm not gonna carry this for you. Because I'm realizing more and more as I do grow more confident with myself, as I do realize that like, oh no, I know what I want. The hardest part for me is just actually taking action on it. That has made me doubt myself and make me overthink a lot less, because I've been able to tell myself like, no, I know what I want. I'm right in this. And that's really, really helped my overthinking, I think, because it's knowing that like, oh yeah, I know what I want and I know what feels right. Amazing. Sometimes that's going to work out. Sometimes it's not. But my duty is to myself and to make sure that I am, yeah, focused on that and just really in tune with like what John needs and wants and is craving and desiring. And oh, Doyle rules. Let's freaking go. I'm starting to notice that the less there's like a direct relationship between overthinking, anxiety, and a lack of self-knowledge and I don't even want to say self-knowledge. I would say self-trust. I'd be curious if I talked about it with more people, how specific we could get. Oh, dude, finish that kill. Yo, that thing is hitting from range, dog. I'd flash and plate and push, or just not at all. You know, sometimes for women, we have that people pleasing nailed into us when you're young, so you don't want to know. So you don't know what your needs are because they were never important. It's more important to make others comfortable. Yep, 1,000,000%. Glennon has a perfect anecdote for that, where she has $2 and a son, and you know, her daughter and her friends are sitting on the couch watching a movie, and she goes and asks, is anyone hungry? And without looking at anyone, the boys just said yes. They didn't look around. They didn't need any reassurance. They just said yes. Where the girls of the group all looked around at each other, and then one girl spoke for the rest and said, no, we're okay. And what she likened that to is exactly what Heather was just saying. Women are so often encouraged to be other focused and have their needs be whatever the needs of the other person are. And so when asked, are you hungry? You don't look inside yourself for that answer. You look at everyone else to see what I should be or should not be. Where us as men, we're taught to be confident and strong and know what we want. And so we don't need to look to each other to say that we're hungry, because like, yeah, of course we're men and we're hungry and we know this. And so it's just so interesting that that's a thing. Just wild, man. Real talk, the main overarching theme of your therapy is figuring you out. Like, how do you put this succinctly? You've spent so much of your adult life fitting in and getting along in situations, so you question to your core whether or not you truly identify yourself and what, dude, Dewey, I love that so much. And that is, I think that's the journey that 98% of the world, all of the world needs to be going on. It's not, yeah, it's who are we? Because no matter what body you're born in, you're told, you know, if you're a woman, you got to have big boobs, nice ass, thin, you know how to cook. If you're a dude, well, I mean, so much has changed over the last 20 years, but like a dude, you're ripped, you're financially stable, you're more stoic, you're in control, you're like all of these things. And what it does is it takes the variation out of life. Like, that's one of the things that I will support the trans community, LGBTQIA+, like all of them to my last breath, because if, like, from my standpoint, if you truly look at humans, and I people watch a lot, that's why I feel very confident in this belief, in this analysis in a way. If you lined up the most masculine man to the most feminine woman,
and you did that as a line, and you went from most masculine man to least masculine man to, and then from there least masculine woman to most masculine woman, that would look like a perfect circle. Because over the course of my entire life, I have seen women that are more masculine than me. I've seen men that are more feminine than the women in my life. Like, I've seen all of the variations of it. So to say that no, because you have X, you need to behave like X, or because you have Y, you have to behave like Y, is the biggest bull sandwich that we were ever fed on this planet. And so, yeah, like, we're all just trying to human and figure it out, you know? That's all we can do, is just do our best to find out the most about ourselves and hopefully become a better person along the way, you know? As someone who has the desire to not want to be misunderstood, but there's a part of you who needs the confirmation from the person to know. Yeah, I guess that leads then back to what would be the solution, which is, how will you then know when you are fully understood? Because if asking is too annoying, then we can't let the other person tell us we're fine every time in order to be comfortable with it. So what from yourself are you going to be at peace with, comfortable with, to feel as though you are understood? There's so many different scenarios. Like, I feel like we could probably go through 40 different things where asking, does that make sense or is acceptable? And then another 20 where it doesn't. So it's like, that's why I feel like there just has to be there's just two things. There's a sense of trust in yourself, as I feel as though I explained that correctly. And if I didn't, I'm going to tell you, hey, I feel as though I didn't explain this correctly, and I will amend that. And then there's the second level of just trusting that someone else got it. And if they don't get it, they will tell me. Like, that's really it. And it's such a hard place to get to. And that's also true, Ginger. That's also true. And that, like, there's so many, that's why I'm like, this spans so many different things, whether you're like making a joke with someone, whether you're explaining your hearts and emotions, like, there's so many different levels to this. It's insane. I suppose you just be more conscious of over explaining and try to fight it is all. That works. Yeah. If you feel yourself giving information that wasn't asked, maybe start asking yourself why. I feel like that would be, I'd be interested to see what that would be, Lokes. Obviously, over explaining. But like, I'd be curious if you would keep a journal, because even I would like to know for my own just like research on humans, what you were feeling in that moment. Like, oh, I made a joke about, or I did blah, blah, blah. And I felt the need to explain because, and I think if you can really get into the granular of like why you feel the need, you can start to realize those triggers and then just push past it. Or adjust, or ask questions, or, you know, just find a different way of going about it. You do sometimes have to ask if certain words mean the same thing to a person. Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%, bae. Always. Like, if there's ever a word, and it's always like clarifying what you're talking about too. You think another factor of society is how society is nowadays? Despite having the best intentions, people can interpret things you say as they wish and vilify you for it. Think comedians getting canceled and such. Exactly. And that's why it's on the other. It's not about the comedian though. It's about the other person. And so if you're constantly worrying about the other people, dude, if he would have lived, I would have lost my mind. So anyways, I appreciate you guys and I love you and I appreciate your vulnerability, because these are all things that you're sharing just like strangers on the internet, even though we're not strangers on the internet. But oh, you're done. GG's. Yeah, that sucks. You had a convo with your mom the other day and she was saying that she thought certain environment things have caused more people to be ADHD, and you told her that those people always existed before they were just called lazy, inattentive, unmotivated. Yeah. That's where the whole ADHD stuff has been really fascinating to me, because I literally have two conflicting books in a way. One is the ADHD Advantage, and then the other is it Scrambled? I think those are the two ones. I don't think they're conflicting. I shouldn't say that. Because yeah, I have Scattered and the ADHD Advantage, and one is like how your ADHD is awesome. Or no, sorry. More so two schools of thought, in that we've always been ADHD, and that those of us that have ADHD are more like hunters in terms of the hunter-gatherer thing, because we're always aware, we're always moving. We have to be super focused when it comes to that type of stuff. And then there's more schools of thought coming in as to how ADHD is actually caused by childhood trauma, and those with secure relationships exhibit less characteristics, or less common to exhibit characteristics like ADHD and that sort of stuff, because of that secure bond. So it's like, I don't know. And that's going to be really interesting to see how all of that pans out. Like, is it all really just because our parents did something in some way? Is it actually a part of our genealogy? Like, I don't know. It can be an advantage if you're able and fortunate enough to structure your life in a way that allows that. Like, I don't know how I'm assuming based on your knowledge of this that you probably have the ADHD. But I know for myself, like, if I had an office job 8 hours a day, like, my life wouldn't be able to be constructed in a way that makes it an advantage. It would make it a weakness, and it would make it awful. And so that's, I think, one of the biggest gifts of learning about ADHD, and specifically how you work. That's one of the things that I'm so fortunate to have this job, in that I don't have a 9-to-5. I don't have kids right now. I don't have anything that really makes me say I have to live my life a certain way. So I can experiment. I can structure my life in a way that has me doing different things every few hours, and allows me more breaks for my brain. Like, I can do that. And so for me, it's an advantage. I now know how I can use that. I know, like, I'm so excited about my schedules and all of my work things, that it's turned it into an advantage, where before it's like, you just feel like you're screwed.